Hey, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to You're the Batman. Today's Batman Beyond episode is the penultimate episode, Countdown. So this one starts off just like probably two other Batman episodes have started off with Matt Stan. He's at some kind of auditorium. He's like, I'm gonna blow it all the fuck up because I don't like anything. So yeah. And Batman's like, dude, can you get a fucking job? So there's a bit of a scuffle, bit of explosions, then Matt Stan, he sets off an explosion, so Batman either has to capture him or save civilians. So obviously, Batman saves some civilians, and Matt Stan gets away. Meanwhile, Zeta, the one android that like had artificial intelligence, he's back with like his robot companion, which, from what I understand, Fox had a spin-off series called the Zeta Project. Um, I've never seen. If anybody like has recommendations for it, let me know. So I guess like he met a girl along the way, and now they just like do adventures together. But they're back in Gotham City to talk to a certain doctor, because there's this like big technology conference going on. And they believe him to be there. So Zeta's in town, and he is then like spotted by the cops or the feds because they like have these visors on to detect, like, to see through his disguise, because he's disguised as like a normal man. I guess, well, not disguised, use a hologram to look like a normal man. But they see right through him, and the chase is on. So they're going through the streets, and they just so happen to run across Mad Stan. And Mad Stan, all he sees is just federal agents going after an innocent civilian. So Mad Stan's like, oh, hell no. So Mad Stan ends up saving Zeta right before Zeta gets like knocked out with some kind of like EMP device. So Mad Stan, he like scoops him up and escapes the feds, and he brings him to like his little abandoned house with his Chihuahua Boom Boom. And uh, Boom Boom, he like investigates Zeta, and I guess he hit like the wrong thing, because they just starts like changing his projection to a different person, different person, until finally he reveals his like true android form. So Mad Stan's like, oh my god, it's a freaking conspiracy. I'm gonna take this to my advantage. So he takes a bomb and puts it to the back of Zeta's back, and then when Zeta finally wakes up, however an android would describe it, he's like, "Hey, your buddy, um, they escaped, and they're gonna meet you at this one place, and you have like so and so many minutes to get there. So you better hustle your bustle, buddy." So Zay's like, "Oh man, thanks, I really appreciate it." So he changes back to a normal human, and then makes his jolly way down to the destination. So, um, meanwhile, Ro, she's calling the police, and she's like, "Hey, I need to speak to Batman immediately. He's on your guys' payroll, right?" And the dispatcher's like, "What the hell are you talking about? No, get the hell out of this line." So I'm guessing the word Batman is like linked to, like, there's like a catchphrase that like gives it like goes to the Batcave, because at the time Bruce Wayne was listening to it, and I'm thinking, there's no way Bruce listens to every single phone call. There's no way. So it had to have been like, oh, the special phrase alert. Here's Here you go, Bruce. This is the number that said the magic word. So he hears it and sends Terry out to investigate. Um, so as she ends the call, she gets assaulted by some jokers, and before they can do any real damage, Batman shows up and he scares them off. And he's like, "Well, you rang. What's up?" And she explains, "Hey, Zeta said he used to be your friend." And Terry's like, "Oh, Zeta? What the hell? What's good? I love that guy." And she's like, "Well, we were together, and then we got separated when this like big burly guy obsessed with explosives took him." And he's like, "Oh, fuck me, that guy again." Ugh. Which, quick pause. So the voice actor of Zeta in this episode is different than the first episode he was in. I can't remember his name, but it's the same voice actor, that plays Batman from Batman Brave and the Bold. So it's so neat. You have Zeta interacting with Batman, and then like 10 years later, he himself is going to be Batman. I forget the guy's name. He's a terrific actor. He really is. He's in a lot of stuff. But I think just that's so neat because like as soon as he started talking, I was like, wait a minute, I know that voice. That's Batman. And then I looked it up, and sure enough, yeah, that's Batman. Yeah, just wanted to share that tidbit. I just thought it was funny. Um, so Terry, he's now trying to look up where the heck Matt Stan is, and Bruce is able to procure like a fake location that where he could be. So him and Ro, they check it out. A booby trap is set off, but he's fine. It kind of is funny. After seeing Spider-Man, Brand New Day, Mad Stan and Punisher have a lot of similarities. I'm not saying like they're a ripoff or the same character or anything like that. There's just similarities between them. Like on a rinky dink boat with like booby traps, like against the system, using like guns and explosives, like that kind of stuff. Not anything else. But anyway, so Batman happens upon Mad Stan, and he's trying to wake him up because he's in a deep sleep, and he notices there's some water next to him. So he tests it with his glove. He's like, "Oh, damn it!" And I was like, "What is it?" He's like, "He took a fucking sedative. He's gonna be out for the like a good chunk of time." So then they see Boom Boom has a little disc on his collar. So Batman takes it, and on the TV, Matt Stan's like, "Hey, Batman, just letting you know, I put a bomb on your robot, and I didn't want to tell you where it was, so I knocked myself out." Which, good plan, like, really good plan. And I appreciate the bit of boasting. But yeah, so Batman, he's now on a countdown, as the episode suggests, to try and find Zeta, who is disguised as a normal human, before the bomb goes off. So Bruce, he tells Terry, he's like, "Hey, I noticed Mad Stan, every time he goes on one of his rants, it's right before or right after some kind of news outlet releases an article about some kind of government news." So they keep digging and digging, and meanwhile, Terry, he's like searching the city. Zeta, on the other hand, he's like on his merry way to meet at the place where he runs into the same Jokers as before, and they're all like, "Fuck him up!" So Zeta, being a fucking android, he like tosses him like it's nothing. One of the Jokers, he tosses off a fucking bridge, and he falls like 4 stories before, at the same time, boom, Batman nails him with his windshield. I'm like, God damn, the fucking luck and unluck of that guy. So Batman, he like parks and he's like, "Hey, you want to explain to me why the fuck you landed on my windshield?" And the guy's like, "I don't know, just some guy bullied me and he threw me off the side and it was scary and I don't like it." And it's just like, okay, fuck, hold on. Point me where he went. So he does, and he goes in that direction, and he's asking Bruce, and he's like, "Anything in like the civic center I need to be aware of that's going on?" And Bruce is like, "Well, the Department of Health raised a small tax on animal licenses," and then it cuts to a shot of Mad Stan getting licked by Boom Boom as he's sleeping. It's just so funny that like he has the reaction, "What? I have to pay a bigger fine for my pet license? I'm gonna blow it up!" So Batman, he goes to the Department of Health and finds Zeta and is able to get the bomb off him and have it explode outside the building. No casualties, yada yada. Um, Meanwhile, the feds, who put a tracker on Batman, they show up, and Zeta's like, "All right, Batman, you go on your own way. I'm gonna have to deal with this myself." And Batman's like, no. So then Batman, he gets into the Batwing, and he like goes off, leaving Zeta on his own. So all the federal agents, they're swarming the building. They're looking up and down, and they come across the janitor, and they do a sweep of him with their like glasses. They're like, "Okay, this guy's clean." But it turns out to be Terry in disguise, and then Zeta used the hologram to make himself Batman to escape in the Batwing, which I'm like, okay, pull the old switcheroo on him. I love that. So then Zeta and Batman, they meet up with each other and say their goodbyes, and that's the end of the episode. Pretty solid episode. The one thing I don't really care for that much is like how Batman was able to find Zeta. Like you're telling me, of as huge as Neo Gotham is, Batman was in the right place at the right time to nail the Joker that Zeta flung off a roof. Like, come on. There's suspension of disbelief, and there's some bullshit. That was some bullshit. Um, but still a fun episode, regardless. It was neat seeing Matt Stan kind of like the main bad guy for once. I don't think he's ever had like an actual episode where he's the front and center. So I mean, even in this one, he kind of wasn't because he was out like the second half of it. Um, but I guess there's not really too much you can do with that character. But yeah, still good stuff. Seeing Zeta back was really neat. Him not using any kind of his powers or what? Well, not powers. His abilities was kind of weak. Because I mean, we've seen Zeta work. Like Zeta's a badass. So I don't know. Still good, I guess. I guess I'd rate this episode a 5 out of 7. Just better than average. Good stuff. Yeah. See you tomorrow for the final episode of Batman Beyond. Crazy. This this show is just gone like that. But yeah, last episode. Here we go. Bye bye.